I think South African Airways is an excellent example of how the ANC government has been running the whole country. You can look at all the state-owned enterprises, and now Eskom is on everybody's lips because of the huge impact on the South African economy. But South African Airways is another excellent example of incompetence, and it's government incompetence. And if there's one specific minister that I believe should take a lot of responsibility with what is currently happening with South African Airways, it must be Pravin Gordhan. It was Pravin Gordhan, when he was the Minister of Finance, that kept on giving money to South African Airways and prevented certain restructuring from taking place at South African Airways. The same happened at Eskom, as an example. And it's the same Minister of State-owned Enterprises today, Pravin Gordhan, that's supposed to be responsible for this specific transaction. So eventually, they sold off South African Airways for 51 Rand, according to rumors, or because nobody really knows what's going on here. And new guys are supposed to come in and to refinance South African Airways and to make it a viable airline again, which obviously, well, seems not to be happening. So this is just another example of state incompetence, or the incompetence of governments meddling into the affairs of what's supposed to be the private sector economy and making a mess of it. So what's going on with South African Airways, I just don't know. What I do know is you and I, the taxpayers, we've been spending tens of billions of rands on South African Airways the last couple of years, and for that we're selling that for 51 Rand. So what's going on, I think, is just another example of state incompetence. The South African state-owned enterprises, most of them, have been run into the ground operationally and financially. And again, Eskom is the one that everybody knows because of the huge impact on the South African economy. But basically what it comes down to is ideology. I have no reason to believe that Pravin Gordhan also had his fingers in the cookie jar. But he's a communist. He believes in state control of just about everything. He's been making a mess of just about everything that he's been trying to manage as the Minister of State-owned Enterprises, and previously as the Minister of Finance as well. And the message that we're sending out to the rest of the world is that we keep on making the same mistake all over again. It makes me think of what Einstein apparently said about intelligence. So that's exactly what we are doing. We're making the same mistake, and we keep on making the same mistake. And at the past conference of the ANC, they did say they want a pharmaceutical company, a state-owned pharmaceutical company. They want a state bank, another state bank. And is there who in his right mind can think that that will actually work when they've made a mess of just about all the other state-owned enterprises? The message that we are sending out to the rest of the world is that we have a government that keeps on meddling into the affairs that's supposed to be private sector stuff. They keep on making a mess of that, and they keep on asking money from the taxpayers to keep on bailing out these state-owned enterprises. The answer to this is very obvious. It's very straightforward. Close it down and privatize it. And in fact, and very ironically, that is exactly what we are doing. We are privatizing everything in South Africa. We have privatized the airlines in South Africa. South African Airways is a good example. We are currently in the process of privatizing postal services in South Africa because the post office is bankrupt. It doesn't function anymore. The private sector is taking over those functions. We are in fact going as far as even privatizing the police. There are 3 times as many private sector security people than police people. We've privatized the police for all practical purposes because government is incompetent and simply not capable of doing what they're supposed to be doing as a government. And now they want to do even more. That must be complete craziness. Well, one good thing about having an incompetent government is that they're also not capable of implementing a bad idea. So the national health insurance will not happen. It will not happen simply because we do not have the money. Certainly not in the form that they're currently envisioning of implementing national health insurance. They will try. It will be a mess. They are going to lose a lot of money, like they've been losing money previously, but we just do not have the money for that. But more importantly, they're simply not capable of implementing an NHI. I'm not concerned about the NHI. It's not going to happen.